what we will build on this site, which was, as people have said, the vision of many before me, the current council, as well as myself, and many members of the community. We will build this recreation complex as a place to serve for fitness, recreation, and community gathering, where residents can gather for generations to come. Before we start today's festivities, I'd like to start by recognizing a number of people who are with us today that had a hand in the role and development of our community and bringing this project to reality. First, I'd like to introduce our elected officials, and I'd like to start with Ward 1, Alderman Frank Min, Alderman Josh Crawley. From Ward 2, Alderman Roger Lowry, and Alderman Ryan Vickers. From Ward 3, Alderman Pat Besky, and Alderman Brenda Wagner. From Ward 4, Alderman Harry Zimmerman, and Alderman Pat Beck.
Woo-hoo!
And from Ward 5, we have Alderman Bill Paletti, and Denise Williamson, who regrets she is ill this morning and regretted that she could not make it. Also with us today, we have our city clerk, Aaron Koffel. These aldermen were instrumental in the development and discussions of this project from its initial discussions to today. Also, we have two former aldermen. I know one is here. I don't see the second. He may be in the crowd. But two other aldermen who were instrumental in this. Former Alderman Justin Golf and Dennis Barasivic. Dennis, are you with us today? They were on the council when we accepted this idea and were instrumental again in helping us bring it to what it is today. Also, I'd like to recognize some key members of staff that worked diligently behind the scenes. When I was first elected, I tasked staff with doing some analysis to see if we could support a community center. They did an awesome job. We then went out and hired a third-party firm and said, can we do this? Will it work? They said yes. We compared our notes. We were almost spot on. So that says a lot about the staff that we have. We have a great staff at City Hall. Everybody from the people at City Hall to our police department to the volunteers that are here today. So I'd like to first introduce, you know Angie, you met her already. Okay. We have John Hardy, our Director of Public Works. Mike Malloy, our Director of Economic Development. Mike's retiring at the end of the year, so we have a new replacement already hired for him, so he'll be starting in a couple of weeks. Our Director of Land Use, Tim Tolliver. The person who controls all the purse strings. It's not me. That's Gina Rader, our Finance Director. So Gina, welcome. Representing the police department today is our chief, Jim Crumrich, our lieutenant. The chief is away at a chief's conference, so Jim, I know you're out there somewhere. There he is. And we have so many others on staff that are with us here today. I'd also like to recognize a few others from the community that are here. We have Chief Brian Doyle from the fire department in the back. Brian, thank you for coming. And I'd also like to recognize two individuals that have really contributed over the last several decades to the formation of this city and setting the direction that we have today that allows me to build on the firm foundation that they set. And that is former Mayor Langston and former Mayor Mitchell. Welcome. So I call them Mayor 2 and 3. And we're all together, right? All right, we also have on hand with us several former elected officials, various board members and individuals who contribute their time to the city to help make decisions and contribute to our communities. So those who were able to attend, we thank you. I'd also like to recognize a number of other officials who have taken their time to be with us today. We have several people from the county. If you could raise your hand, those from the county, or stand. I know we have Judge Coker in the back and a few others. All right. We also have our city attorney, Kevin Horner. Kevin's with us today. He can make sure all this is legal, right, Kevin? And we have a number of officials from the township today. If our township officials can stand up. So we've been working hand in hand with our township officials. We thank them for coming out. David Jacklowitz told me this week he was like the first vice president of the initial Parks Committee. So going back almost 48 years ago, right, David?
48 years.
And you're only 53 years old. 49. Okay, very good. And also, this project would not have been possible without the cooperation and support and working together with Grant School District and the Superintendent Matt Steins. We sat down and worked on this site. We looked at the number of sites and chose this site. So Matt, if you and your board members that are here could stand up and be recognized, we thank you for your contribution and work. And Jason, thank you for making this reality for what it is today. And also, we have to recognize the Metro East Parks and Recreation District. So you may or may not hear that name a lot, but they are so important to the region, to what they do. And former director Mike Buellhart could not be here today, and Brian Warner. Brian, are you here? Not sure if Brian made it. But they have contributed multiple grants that will aid in the construction of this building, around $600,000. So we thank them for working with us and giving back to the community of Fairview Heights. So thank you very much. All right, at this time, there are 3 individuals I'd like to recognize. I'm not sure if they're in the audience. Tiffany Baldwin. Tiffany was the former president of Grant School and a resident. Tiffany, are you here? Okay, some people stayed work for more. Oh, there she is, right there. All right. Scott Rich, former alderman and a resident. Scott, there he is. Stand up, Scott. All right, hide in the back corner. And Derek King, who's a resident and founder in Youth into Action. Derek, he's at work. Okay, he's doing what he does. So these 3 individuals were the committee that I put together as a Citizens Advisory Committee to help us determine and make decisions about this center. We wouldn't be here today without their hard work and dedication. We met, we talked about the sites, we talked about what the building should include, and they were the ones that went out and sought input from the public to help us make decisions about what's going to go into this. We'll continue to utilize them over the next several years and look forward to their hard work and dedication to making this a successful facility when we open it in early 2019. Okay, we'll get through this quick so we can warm up. I'd like to recognize our architects, EWR, for the amazing design work they did in bringing this project from a drawing to the construction that is about to commence. As you can see, they started demolition this week already. I'd like to especially recognize Brian Wheeler. Brian? So the reason I want to recognize Brian is I told him a few weeks ago, I think Brian is one of the most awesome jobs. So Brian is the one that, he didn't cut the strings, it's working. So Brian is the one that led the design team for EWR. So Brian is the one that sat down with a blank canvas and laid out after he talked to all of the staff and council members about what they'd like here. And he's the one that actually designed the facility and led all of the drawings you see here in the front of what it's going to contain. And if you haven't seen, this is what the beautiful building will look like that Brian had in his vision for Fairview Heights. So Brian, thank you. I told Brian, what could be better than to draw something and watch it get built that other people pay for, right? No. So with that, I'd like to invite Bill Reichert, principal of EWR, to come up and say a few words.